Alright, back again. So as soon as you leave, I get attacked at this place. It's kind of an uphill fight in this case, so most of the archers won't matter. Thankfully, right after this, finally the crafting menu opens up. So you get hunted down by this lady. Pretty much she's just a bounty hunter at this point, but you can recruit her later under pretty much every path, I think. I think it's only on neutral that if you screw up, she actually just leaves. So, she thinks everybody died, or she thinks this guy killed everyone there. Pretty much she ends up attacking no matter what you do. If you end up going down this route, you just end up fighting her a bunch, and she ends up joining in a few fights. If you end up going down the law route, she does attack you a bunch of times, and finally end up having to fight her, I think right after... No, you don't get her right after the Hercopolis. No, you end up getting her after her and Vice join at the same time later on. And then neutral, I'm actually not sure if she joins in neutral. But there, they're just talking about the fact that Leonard basically just lies to everyone all the time. No, all the good guys died, all the bad guys won. Definitely draw on our side, though. Basically, the resistance goes full, like, friggin' dictatorship at this point. As before, main victory condition is getting her, but there's a fair few dudes in the way, and she does come down to about halfway down the map. There's still usually a need to kind of fight through this general area. And even as far as archers go, she is pretty overpowered. So she has much higher stats than the other ones, so I can easily, hit everybody in the rain. All that good stuff. This might just bounce off the building, yeah. The guys are a little less accurate, but still not good enough. But after this fight's done, that's when I'll finally start getting a bunch of weapons with stat effects on them. So once crafting opens up, you get all your +1 weapons. Now most of them are just extra stats and extra penalties, which is a little bit weird in some cases. And by the way, you can actually hack your way through some of these scenario pieces, but it does take a while, so it's not really useful. So you have multi-hit moves. But anyhow, as far as your +1 stuff, it's generally pretty good. Like in most cases, it will be heavier. If it came with any penalties, they will sometimes double or triple those penalties, but you get much higher stats. The ones that I prefer to use, though, and frankly the only ones I think that are worth using, since most of them take a very long amount of time, take a lot of money and resources to make, and in most cases just give, a tiny little buff. There's a whole bunch of them that give stat bonuses. Or not stat bonuses, but skill bonuses. So the skill bonuses and stat effects are the ones that I'm going for. Like the Volge, I believe the +1 that these guys are using. If I'm not mistaken, that's the one that hits with a stun. So that'd be very useful. Now I'm gonna leave the with the fighters. I'm gonna leave her with an upgraded dirk. I believe that's a silencing one. So if there's ever any mages or something causing a problem, have her attack them. I was gonna give the guys iron fans, which also stun. Seeing as the main problem I'm gonna run into later on is the fact that everyone's countering, and if they're stunned, you know, that'll give the 50% chance that they won't attack, plus also will nullify their counter. Upgraded longbows, those do knockback, so that would be useful for crowd control. And other than that, most of the better ones are kind of later down the line, so I'm going to hold on to those as much as possible. Probably once I get scorpions for the fencers, I'm just going to keep using those for a while. Oh, and I was also going to give all the frontliners, I was going to keep them with one-handed melee weapons and a upgraded bowgun. Those also do stuns. Actually, come to think of it, then there's no point in making iron fans now, is there? Oh, I'll probably give him something else then. Might just give them all dirks. The extra speed that they're getting out of that is pretty useful. One knight down. Yeah, I think once everybody gets to that kind of third level there, that's about when you can start really piling on aerosol. Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce some of the names on this. Like, I was just assuming it was aerosol, but you know, like Arisol or something. Yeah, she needs backstabs, even from, you know, a reasonable range here and all that. It's still only 33%. I'm gonna have him toss a plank at this guy. Put some damage around. Yeah, that's not enough. But I want him on that next rooftop next turn. One downside to all of these long-range bows, though, as you can see, is the dead zone. That's one thing they did add in this version. One of the positive changes. Because in the original, there was no reason to not give anyone a bow. Because frankly, you give anyone a bow, you could just walk them straight up to somebody's face, shoot them in the face with the bow, and they could do exactly nothing about it. I know I'm kind of playing fast and loose with people getting knocked out here, but the only healing item I have are the 25 health ones, which really aren't going to do much. And since it's causing them to lose time, I'd much rather they just act a little bit faster. Like, it got her knocked out there, which sucks, but... Right now, just trying to get up to aerosol. I mean, odds are he won't end up having any problems as far as losing a life. Pretty sure we're pretty close to winning the fight here. Like, unless, like, she dodges friggin' everything, which she will. But hopefully enough stuff will hit that it won't be a problem. Whoa, hello. The weather change really better to eat the universe. Yeah, another thing that was kind of scary about the original, when you got to this fight, there was no backing out or grinding or any of that. Like, I think you could actually stop and still do training. I don't know if I think you were allowed to still do that in the town. But I remember getting really, really stuck the first time I ran into her here. Because, well, you have these other fights, they were relatively easy. And I ended up losing a couple people to those fights and hadn't gotten proper replacements yet. I think I only had like 2/3 of the party. And, yeah, she was just like one-shotting people. It was a bit nuts. Maybe it doesn't make sense to go after this knight. He's slow enough to not matter. Maybe I will. Make some opportunity damage. I could like this archer gone, but right now she's close enough that a bum rush is in order. That is one aspect I really like about this game as opposed to several others. There's a lot of that whole thing of you're trying to push a line up and then finally a gap opens up and you rush everybody through. And try to get to the... oh crap, I needed him. Then you try to get to the very end before you end up losing somebody. Back from here. Yeah, just enough damage to take this guy out. I might have to revise that earlier statement about somebody not losing a life. That always sounds weird to say. I'm gonna say it's... they just took an injury. A little better. Get over here to take out that archer. Mostly because I don't want him taking my stuff. Airsoul's doing most of the killing anyway. Those ones are harsh. So Dark Weight, first of the kill moves that archers get, and it's good on its own, but it kind of has a second crippling effect. So basically, if somebody gets hit by it and survives, in most cases they end up suffering a movement penalty for a few turns. Which is cool as it is. Yeah, no. I was gonna say if you can reach there, that'd be good. I was considering whether to take the left spot. End up canceling it out anyway. And I was thinking whichever way the healer goes, I'd like to be able to catch them. So planning to have the fencer go and just wail on the healer, have everyone else slowly creep towards Aerosol. Probably try to take out that second archer just because she's in the way. Yeah. One thing about your units taking injuries is usually you'll end up losing... this is going to sound stupid to say, but losing one at a time. What I just mean by that is they'll always aim at the one that they have the highest damage potential. So usually you'll end up losing the people that ended up already losing life because they have lower stats. Carrying damage there. But her defenses aren't really any higher. Her offense is nuts. Hopefully he can make the shot. Here. Definite maybe. Does some pretty harsh counter damage anyway. Oh yeah, one thing I neglected to mention. So, in the original, when they did counter damage, pretty much everybody had 100% counter at all times. And this one, you start off with no counter, it's just your base. You get 25%, 50%, 75%, and then 100% by the end of the game. So she's gonna take him out. One nice thing though, if your leader gets taken down, you don't automatically lose. Just like FFT, he does actually have to bleed out in order for it to count. This is kind of a cool exchange here. So she wants to get revenge for her brother. I think I actually skipped over that scene. But, basically her brother had a broken leg. He got stabbed like hell in the previous town raid. So, now that we're on the Chaos route here, Chaos is mostly... In this series, like, Law and Chaos are more relative than, you know, pure good or bad, really. Like, in this case, the Law route is by far... Actually, the neutral route is the worst, but the Law route is, just basically you followed orders kind of a situation. Yeah, we haven't gotten crafting yet, so it must be at the next fight. Dang it. Well then, hopefully we'll get it at Raybone. I know it's one of these fights, and I think it's a little bit different, because I know leaving that town got crafting in one of the rooms. And yeah, everything just kind of flip-flops depending on what route you're on. Like Zapan here, he is like full-on, yeah. But he's like full-on crazy rapist mode in this route, and he's just like a funny pirate in Chaos, or not in the Law route. Not this is Chaos. What am I talking about? Yeah. And I think I don't know if he survives in neutral. I know he doesn't survive this route. Because in some cases you kill him, in some cases he gets betrayed. It's awesome. All these different thingies going on. So, this is the first introduction to octopi. They are a bit scary as crap, so they're kind of your water tank in this game. Pretty much once they take a few hits, they'll just go up and start spamming. They have two moves that they use. So, well, I guess they have multiple. So this one is all the beast units get this kind of move, where it's basically they give a debuff, and usually an elemental weakness to something. In a lot of cases, they'll give themselves a buff as well, so all good as far as buffs go, but it's never as good as their other stuff. Like, this is just like a long-range cannon, functionally. This usually will take out 2/3 of somebody. They also can chuck rocks really well and do a ton of damage with them, but for some reason the AI never bothers with that. They can counter with them, and those hurt pretty bad. But on multiple runs I've tried just using only beast units. There's no reason for them to even use their moves. You just have them just chuck boulders at people, and it does the same damage as the regular hits, so there's no reason not to. Not to mention there seems to be additional knockback from them, so you're constantly knocking people off of cliffs and whatnot. It's pretty devastating. Plus, it's kind of hilarious to see a griffin pick up a boulder in its beak and chuck it at somebody's face. Yeah, so limited walkways here. Yeah, usually the octopi come up. They do a bit of damage. Most times you can get to Zapan before they do anything too bad. Now this guy's over here proving why Terror Knights suck. They're functionally made of tinfoil. Again, they're supposed to scare units around them, but most of their best moves for that aren't available until much later in the game, and it wouldn't even be relevant in this run. It occurred to me, actually, well, no, I can't even recruit any reptile units. I was thinking, why am I not using them? They've got ludicrously good stats even before their, what am I even saying here? Even before their skills. But no, that wouldn't work in this case. Because I can't actually get any reptile units this run. You need a... what the hell is it called? I forget. I think it's invite. That's the recruitment skill for them. But, like FFT, you just beat the hell out of them and use that skill on them over and over until they finally join you. Sometimes they're too loyal and just can't. But every class has a different set of recruitment moves that they can learn. And the weird part is they're not a free thing. They take your toilet paper points and kind of an annoying trade-off because usually you end up having to use too many points to actually recruit somebody. You need to have 2 or 3 people in a mob just circling this person, inviting them to join like some kind of bizarre forest cult. Especially when your best case odds are like 20-30%. I think the highest I've ever seen is 41. And that was with somebody that was incredibly disloyal. They were pretty much at 1 health, if I recall. Oh, and they can't have any debuffs on them, by the way. So if they're poisoned or charmed or stunned or anything, really, they just flat out cannot join. And no fit mental shape to talk. Makes sense, also kind of doesn't. Also, I'm actually kind of okay with fencers being able to attack from the water here. It does give them one benefit on certain maps, because they can attack without possibly being attacked back. And good for their flimsy status. Again, a little bit limited use given the rare nature of water here. But it'll work here. And I'll double check later as far as whether or not there's any particular reason to use Dark Knights. There may be something that I'm missing. As far as innate stats, I know a lot of them carried over between the transition. That's why fencers can walk in water without needing a skill for it and whatnot. So I don't know if they get a free skill or not. Like, I know knights have some kind of hidden defense bonus. There's Aqua Bubble. So, that thing's damage is based on how many points they've got saved up. If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but like in that case it did 72. So if they get a lot of points going, they can spam that quite a bit. And Zapan's kind of hiding in the back here, so we're not going to get to see him anytime soon. And one more thing I'm curious to see in this run, and I hope to figure that out as probably as soon as Chapter 4, is there's a few weapons that give you weapon skills. Now, a few of them go to +2, but if you have no skill equipped, I'm kind of wondering if that'll still end up giving you the kill moves. Because if so, there will be availability for, I think it was two-handed katanas, crossbows, because there's the Damask crossbow, I believe, that gave a +2, guns, and I want to say there was a dagger. Was there a dagger? I don't know. I think it was a dagger that also gave a +2. I'm just looking around all the crafting tables earlier to see what would be useful. And the options are a little bit limited early on, but later on you get some pretty awesome stuff. Like, pretty much once you get into endgame stuff, you start getting Damascus gear. That's where pretty much everything gets overpowered. Stay on my loot. Yeah, alright, almost to Zapin. Japan, Zapin. Lathan sounds funnier. I think it's supposed to be Zapan. Because yeah, I think he was with a Z in the original, if I'm not wrong. And again, I do that quite a bit. Oh, so the weird-looking demon guy down there, and already killed off one of them. So those are Umbras. They're very flimsy, sort of an entire race of fencers, more or less. I've never found a very appealing reason to use them. It seems like everything that they can do, somebody else can do better in some capacity. As before, don't really have any good shots with the archers, so just spreading out damage wherever they can. Yeah, Umbras are hard to recruit, hard to find. That's a good thing there. I do like how everyone gets kind of thrown awry in this story. Like, nobody knows what the hell's going on or what their future is. Everyone's just trying to do the best they can. Realism. Things like war sucks for everyone. It's always hard to tell whether that's a jump down or a jump across. Kind of a weird way they did it. Did knock her off. So shields have a very high chance to knock somebody back. Very, very useful for knocking people off of cliffs. Like in this case, if you can get a knight or somebody else that can't swim into the water, because they'll basically never have the skill for swimming, because why the hell would you? But if you knock them into the water, they're functionally out of the fight. Of course, downside for stuff like knights is then they'll just spend the time spam healing, but only in their little limited range. Like this. You got healed slightly. Those heal spells, by the way, they do not scale. There are different versions that you get throughout the game. And by the way, I kind of wish you could switch costumes for your characters, because personally, like, I really like the way the red looks on a lot of these guys. Well, especially this one. This lady looks like Santa Claus. I can go. I guess not. Oh yeah, so as far as the healing moves go, yeah, they do not scale at all. You get the healers get a move that can buff it slightly. They get 50% more effect out of it. But the basic one will always heal 40. The second one will always heal 80. The one after that, I believe, is like 150. And if I'm not mistaken, that's actually the highest that it goes. So, frankly, healers, like as far as dedicated healer classes, they did scale in the original, they don't scale in this one, so, oh, I guess he just decided to run away. Yeah, so dedicated healers kind of suck in this one. I mean, they've got the worst weapon choices. They're never going to be able to fight, they're ridiculously squishy, and their heal moves, they have an AoE heal. That's like their special thing. So they can use that. It's pretty much a very expensive version of whatever the relevant one is. So for example, heals 40, heal plus is 40 in a X shape. And yeah, but you know, they're alright, I guess. Also, why do I not have crafting yet? I sworn I'm supposed to have crafting now. And has crafting, please? Yeah, I guess in Chaos it takes a little longer to get it. Weird. Oh, this one. So you run into air cell over here again, I think. What's going on? Yeah. So they killed off the rest of her group. Now Vance, I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure he's the same Vance that shows up later. And that there's a Vance that, if left alive, shows up far later down in the story. They're like, oh, he became some, like, expert tactician or whatever else, and he's well-renowned and whatever else, and it's weird because they actually do a lot of tricky stuff in that fight. So she's wondering why anybody's bothering to save her. Anyway. So he's sorry to have helped out the Duke guy, who is looking more and more disturbingly like our next president, but whatever. It's a whole gross mess of soup as it is. Oh, I'm gonna make everything better. Oh wait, I'm just gonna stab everyone in the back and do whatever instead. Anywho, so, got gremlins, golems, all that. All these are first-timers on this particular run. So, fairies and gremlins. Fairies are ludicrously evasive, but otherwise suck. They kind of get some healing abilities later on. And I think they can heal most debuffs almost right off the bat. And gremlins become the worst frickin' unit ever at the end of the game. As they get AoE moves that Petrify and do Bewitch, which is like a super charm, basically. To the point that they're so charmed that it can't be cured. I don't think... When I looked it up again, I don't think it actually can be cured at all. So, you're fighting your own guys for several turns. Oh, also, by the way, it's touched on in the background, but Aircel and Lennar, the reason why it keeps coming up, apparently they were a thing. Apparently it's hinted at in a lot of places. But anyway, I'll show all that after this fight's done, actually. Oh, there we go. So at any rate, yeah, gremlins, they're kind of garbage when you're playing through the story normally. They're like suckier fairies, except they don't evade. I think they get a charm move, but that's about it. Or no, I think they get a confusion move of some kind. But yeah, once you get into kind of end game and post game, all bets are off. They're just flying around petrifying people in groups, and like in some cases they'll be like friggin' wizard classes too. But they'll just go and yeah, mass petrify all day long, and bewitch people that aren't petrified. And yeah, the last part I was getting to about the bewitchment thing, that's one of those times where your loyalty score actually comes up, because in the 100th floor dungeon thing, there's enough use of that debuff where people can actually just end up quitting your party because they're like too charmed by the other side. So that's, I guess it's kind of cool now that I think about it, but it sucks in that scenario. I mean, it does go a little while, I guess. You guys do basically have maxed loyalty by that point. So, let me see if Aerosol is savable. Usually you need a healer to get up to her. That's a definite maybe. You know, not really putting it as a gigantic priority, frankly. Like, she's good, but I'm pretty sure she'll end up just healing herself, so... Gonna see if it ends up panning out. For now, golems are gonna be a kind of a big problem. Actually, they're gonna be a problem throughout most of the game, and it's probably why I'm gonna have to keep around some healing, not healing items, but crushing weapons. But then you get different golems that come up later on, so you do need different damage types all throughout. Yeah, I think that soldier will be able to go up and heal her. As long as she doesn't die here? Yeah. If I can get a couple arrows into this archer, he should be done for. Doubt he'll get a better shot off the side, so I'm just have him take faster shots. And what else? Now, golems are an interesting story in that, yeah, they're absolute tanks. They don't actually have much health, and the way that they're balanced, they're supposed to be weak to magic, but magic itself is so weak that, usually you don't end up ever going that route. Unless you've got a friggin' super wizard in your group. Which is hard to do, given the fact that, again, you got all these different tiered spells and stuff going on, so you're kind of apt as far as your damage goes. Yeah, fairies are just kind of invasive healers for most of the early game. Now that probably won't be enough to actually save her from much. Hopefully she doesn't take too many more hits. Nope, she's gone. Just hoping that she'd be able to survive that stab, but got a crit. Oh well, there goes the best archer in the game. That's fine. Like I said, this is functionally going to be an Iron Man run. It's just if it gets super late in the game, end up getting into post-game stuff, and you know, end up having a party that's basically charmed to death, and you know, that's kind of overly gamey shenanigans. So if something like that happens and it's an actual game over, if I lose somebody, whatever, if it's an actual like full-on game over, then I'll redo it. Yeah, probably try to take out the healer. And she's gone. So even without weapon skills, they're far less evasive in this version. Like, in the original and the GBA one, you were looking at 30% odds to hit most of the time when it came to fairies. They're just an annoying unit. Except for the case of these two in the GBA game, which, if you had them together, they could sacrifice half their health to just nuke a place. That was in that game and not this one, and it was also very difficult to pull off because they also had to be right next to each other and within like 10 tiles of somebody else. There was a very high chance of them dying to pull off their super move. So I guess, all things considered, no, they were still terrible, and you kind of had to go out of your way to recruit them. And as much as I want those cards, they're not gonna matter too much. I might get them, if I can. Not worried too much about losing out on cards, because about halfway through the game, you start getting a lot more cards than you do items. Usually it's around like level 20 plus. No brainer. Thanks for stabbing your own guy. I don't really know why I'm picking on this poor berserker, to be honest. Because I'm not going to sit around and get all these golems. Oh no, the weather changed. Oh, Gilbert might survive a fight. And they're going to steal my item. Jerks. Priestess, I think this is MP. No. That's mine. Don't really need these guys getting magical stats. One of them is resistance, but it's fine. Chariot, yes, I will take a turn for that one. Strength is going to be useful. Run. Strength and Dex I'm going to take the time out for. Oh, there's that super move I was talking about, so basically an insta-heal. You usually don't see fencers doing a hell of a lot of kill moves because of that. So they kind of become soft tanks, or recovery tanks, in a way. And I think this is the first instance of that overpowered archer move. In this case, the archer's terrible. One change on spears that I definitely appreciate is that they do full damage to both parts now. In the original and the GBA one, the second hit would be half damage. Although at that point, counter damage was still 100% all the time. You could pull some serious shenanigans with it. One of my favorite runs of the GBA games was the Pikeman run. I wouldn't even call it a challenge run, it was just fun. So you can see there, she takes pretty much no damage now because of Phalanx. There's not even a point in attacking her because she still gets full TP from taking the damage. And you can see the TP is kind of your overdrive, or I guess overdrive for Final Fantasy people, or kind of a momentum kind of move. But every time you hit, take damage, and over time you also get that. And then there's skills to make it go up faster too. Yes, your life, not your entrails. Actually, the original's death quotes were pretty weird. Like, there was one... Like, I think it's like they're just asking if it's their intestines. Trying to remember which spell books those were. There we go. Now you're a craft menu. Sell everything we got to craft. Okay, I'm gonna give the archers upgraded longbows. I think I'm gonna make some upgraded shields, but maybe I'm gonna give 2 people shields, probably gonna give those to the soldiers, and then give the other guy, the guys with the helmets. I just want to stuff on soldiers. And then probably give the stunning crossbows to the guys in the back. Yeah, I think that's a better way to do it. Now, I can sell anything that requires field alchemy. Sucks because we won't be able to fix a lot of stuff. Also, since I won't be using these, I give kind of a crap ton of cash. I'll be able to change the weather. These are kind of good to keep topped off at 99, because after that they just automatically convert into cash. Around chapter 4, you usually end up needing to sell those anyway to get more money. Alright, so I have some basic crafting stuffs there. There we go. I'm gonna buy out everything here. If I recall right, the Codex of Jori allows for making a profit. I'm messing around with a lot of these. I want one of them. So, okay. Here's the deal. So let's say I want to make a crossbow. So I'm gonna need 2 bits of different kind of wood, bronze, and a crossbow. So let's say I'm just gonna make 4 of them for good measure. Actually, I'm just gonna make 2. So I already bought all the rocks I possibly can. I'm actually gonna buy some more of these. Anyhow. And then I'm gonna need some logs. Might as well just pick up like 50 of these. All your materials here are pretty cheap. So the process is, well, a pain in the neck. So you go down here, again, so have a crossbow, need the wood. The percentage, your success percentage is apparently based off various stats, though it doesn't really tell you where those are, I don't believe. Yeah, it doesn't say. So, apparently it's the highest base stat of some particular skill that determines your success rate. So the higher your stats, the better your success rates. So I would go down here. So I want to go and make bronze. So we do copper and a tin. Copper. In this case, I'm just going to make 4 of them. Now, you get 1 or 2. Usually you'll get 1. On rare occasions, you'll roll a 2. I think it's like 10% or something like that. You can see already why this might be a little bit tedious. We're going down like 2 or 3 steps, in some cases 4 or 5 steps in order to craft this crap. But if you roll a multiple on, say, stuff like boulder ingots, then you're having a good time. Yeah, and then timber is easy enough. Basically, you just get different types of logs, and you'll get your type of wood that you need. These early ones are relatively simple. I'm gonna go over here. Now I can finally make crossbows. Except apparently I had it backwards, so I need more Teneri wood. I'll go back, make a couple more of these. And by and large, these are about a 25% increase in damage, usually. I mean, they're worth it on the damage front. In some cases, though, they're just so expensive to upgrade that you would never, ever, ever bother. And in most cases, you would save scum because when you're functionally told, okay, we're gonna have... How do I... Oh, never mind. That information was completely wrong. These totally don't spawn on hit. Okay, well, you know what? These are a little pointless then. Well, yeah, then I will go back to my original plan of, That guide was dumb. Okay. So, original plan then. Blow guns. And do I have garages yet? No. I think you get ways of the garages later. So once you get blow guns, those are your stat effect weapons. Oh yeah, so what I was saying earlier, when you get into situations where you have maybe 40% odds to upgrade your absurdly one-of-a-kind weapon that you just spent like friggin' 45 minutes creating various gem components for, you're not gonna want to miss that. Okay. So... So what I was thinking based on what I saw was to stick with dirks until I got up to cutlasses. Thankfully, I do have the chariot cards for this. Canary and iron. Iron's a little bit easier, you just need a bunch of iron ore. And I'm just going to show these, and then I'm just going to off-screen the rest of it, because it takes forever. But once you get to balder stuff is when it gets really, really annoying. I think these are the ones that made money. And then it's 3 for one of these, so go back and get more of those. You can't even mash through it. You gotta select the option differently every time. Later on, you can craft orbs and things for functionally infinite money. Mary. What am I missing? Okay, I'm a little unclear on this. Thought I had an extra one. And save it just in case this backfires against all odds. Only because you can't buy chariot cards. You gotta pick them up. So I'd be doing this forever. I kinda wanna get these. Yeah. That's what it was. It said I had to, but I just didn't have any available. There we go. 80%, it'll fail every time. Yeah, in this case... Like, I understand what they were going for, but it is really some crap that you end up having to go and get another card. There's maybe, I think it's 12 different cards. You have to, well, keep re-rolling until you finally got that card. So it's just annoying. Like, I really don't think that's a good part of the design at all. But yeah, these ones get more race damage, so they'll hit golems harder. Their stats are just better. This one doesn't have any negatives with it, and it actually does breached, not stun. So it'll lower defense of anybody they hit. Pretty useful. Most useful one until the Scorpion, I think. But that's about it. I don't even know how long this has been going. Almost an hour, apparently. So that's about it. I'll go and craft up the rest of this.